This road was bad 10 years ago and it has not improved. We're still in the Northern Territory, and that's probably why this road is so bad, because we're a long way from Darwin. In fact, we're 1,105 kilometres from Darwin, and that's probably why this road is so bad. It's actually no man's land, we think. It's as flat as a billboard. We're 43 k's before we reach the border of Queensland, so it's nearly cheerio Northern Territory. As Robert says, it's like the Hay Plains. You can see vehicles for kilometres ahead. These little white bubbles just all move across the countryside so slowly. There's a few trees, and I think it's a creek, or is it a floodway? Just a floodway and a creek, of course. We're 5 k's off the border of Queensland and Northern Territory, and not a skerrick of shade. The worst piece of road, and 2 very wide vehicles. And this is the border. And it's welcome to Queensland. And there you have it, the border of the Northern Territory and Queensland. Camooweal is 13 and Mount Isa 202. We're coming into Camooweal now, crossing the Georgina River. It must be some river when the water flows, and 310 people live here. And this is the main street of Camooweal. Awful bumpy road here. Robert remembers pulling up here last time we were here. He has his hand on the hitching rail outside the museum at Camooweal. This would have to be one of the oldest buildings in the town and quite historic. We're about 50k out of Mount Isa, and since we left the border, the prairie country has gone, and it's sort of tall trees down to short trees, red earth changing to sandy coloured earth. It's Sunday today, but we have a lot of trucks coming towards us, all heading for Darwin. From that last cutting where a rather major road came in, there's a lot of mud on this side of the road. Rest stops here for trucks and cars are very frequent, more so than the very long stretches in the Northern Territory. These road cuttings, the earth is very red. There's a lot of anthills on the side of the road just here. On this road we have to be on the lookout for cattle, kangaroos and pigs, big black pigs. We are 40 k's out from Mount Isa, and it looks as if we have to wander our way through these ranges, which will be no hardship. And since we've left Camooweal, it's to be noted that all water from here flows south to Lake Eyre. This is a lot nicer than those straight roads that we've been experiencing for days. Well, this is a lovely change. How nice is that? As we drive into Mount Isa, we can see the mines at the edge of town at work. Yesterday we left the Barclay Homestead Roadhouse and just spent the day in the car driving over fairly ordinary country into Queensland and Mount Isa. Another map, and we arrived here just as their rodeo was ending. From Mount Isa, the railway line just goes straight across here to Townsville. We're going to spend a while in Mount Isa and then head down to Boulia here and learn about the Min lights. And then head out here on the development road to Winton. We're at the Mount Isa lookout in the centre of town, and we're looking now at the Mount Isa mine. Very dominating feature in the skyline. There's more mines when you look out to the south, and there are at least 9 minerals that they mine for here in Mount Isa. We're looking towards the hospital, and there was an underground hospital built here in World War II, which is now open for the tourists to look through. They were very worried about invasion from the north. It's a big cosmopolitan centre now, and you can easily get lost if you're a newcomer like us, because there's lots of gutters for when it rains and creeks running through the town, and so the streets go round the creeks. That's looking towards Townsville, and the railway line was built especially to carry the minerals from here to Townsville by rail back in the 20s. And over there is the house on the hill, and that's all it is, a house on the hill, privately owned, privately built. But near there is a cross where all faiths meet for special occasions, and they say the cross watches over the people in the mines working deep underground. And in the middle of town is the Hard Times mine. A bit like Bendigo, it's now a tourist attraction only. We came in from the north west last night from Camooweal. One day too late to be part of the Mount Isa rodeo. They said it was a marvellous event, and always is, and that's the race course down there. Much is always spoken about the Mount Isa rodeo, and the place has been booked out and still is, and we were lucky to get 2 nights at a caravan park here. This would be one big event. If they needed 600 cattle to run the Kununurra rodeo, and I think it's 6.4 cattle per person, and from Kununurra they bring them in from one station, but here they'd have to bring them all in from different stations. And as the local lady at Kununurra was telling me, you don't get an even blend when you bring them in from different stations, but that's how it would have to work here. What a power of organisation, and what a big clean-up day, as that is what's happening down there now. And one lady here said no dust, all very clean, good. This is Mount Isa Mines lit up at night. We've spent night 77 and 76 at Mount Isa, a rest day, wash day and a look around. Today we're heading off down the Birdsville Track, sealed road to Boulia and then sealed road back into Winton. We're only a few k's out of Mount Isa on the road to Boulia. These are the ranges on the south of Mount Isa. It's a very pretty drive this morning. We've only come a few k's. We are out in Never Never country now. We have 280k to go to Boulia. This is a bit different to anything that we've travelled on since we've left home. No fences, no nothing. It's getting to be very red soil here. Look at the redness of this soil. There's lots of floodways on this road. Well, it looks as if we're coming down onto a plateau. There's many white ships like us sailing this ocean. It's very flat and open here. The countryside has changed again. We've been watching the dust of this road train come into this intersection now for some time. There's actually 2 trucks. We've seen no one for a long time, and all of a sudden this little bit of traffic. We think the aridness of this country is because of years of drought, but we're not sure. It's certainly very barren. About every 5k they widen the road to allow passing. And they say overtaking opportunity ahead. We're coming into jump up country. We're certainly travelling through a variety of country. It's very moonscape out here, and we've met someone else coming towards us. Wow. It's 30 degrees outside. We're about 20k from Dajara. We still have 160 to go to Boulia. This is our first truck. We are just driving into Dajara. It's a totally indigenous town, and everything looks very neat and orderly. This is the roadhouse at Dajara, and there's 2 trucks, Curly's trucks. We've seen them right along all the highways, and they're just checking their loads. cattle on, we think, of course. And we have stopped for lunch. Likewise, so have others. We're just taking a drive round Dajara. Well, there is not much round Dajara. Can we use the word bleak, particularly around here? We've just stopped to take this picture. The first time we've seen cattle since we've left Mount Isa. What a long stretch of road ahead. They are tracking cattle out at the moment, but we've also seen 2 empty trucks. These trucks travel in pairs. We're coming down into another flat area, although it's been flat all the way, but this will be flatter. We have stopped for a moment, and this is the type of country that we're travelling through. How would you like that to be your mailbox? This is amazing. We're about 10 k's out of Boulia, and this is what we're travelling through. And this is looking out Robert's side. Yesterday we left Mount Isa and travelled down here to Boulia, and it's a very outback road, and we met road trains and we had to get off, but the quality of the strip of road was quite good, and on the whole we felt that we were outback and way from civilization. We have a strong wind at Boulia this morning and it's quite chilly. This is looking down the main street of Boulia, and where all those cars are parked is where you go in and learn about the Min lights. A bit spooky. It's quite a well-kept town, but the outlook of these houses is over here. And here is Australia Post in Boulia. All the town stores present themselves well, and they are presenting the story of the Min Min lights. Boulia certainly tries to present itself well. The pink building on the left is the hotel, and this is where we learnt about the Min Min lights. And these are the directions to leave this town. Even the town high tank presents the story of the town, as does the lower water tank. And now we're going for a wander through their stone cottage. Many fossils have been found in this area, and they're being well preserved in this shed at Boulia. And this is the head of some sort of fish. And you can see the teeth. And this is the size they think they were. Dolphin-like marine reptiles. And you can see on the pink part of the map is the Simpson Desert, and then Boulia is up the top here. It is all very interesting. And all of that is the Lake Eyre Basin. And this is a good example of how the weatherboard houses were built years ago, in reverse to down south. This is Howard's cottage, and we think they're built this way because you only need one lining, the outside and the inside, all in one. And this is an example of an early medical ward in a hospital in this area. Wow. We remember the dental chair where they pedalled like a bicycle for a drill. Ooh. And these buildings inside still had weatherboards. No more fuel for another 340k? 360. This is the Burke River at Boulia, but it's a pretty bad site. They've been in drought for 10 years. The townspeople get their water from underground. Now on the Kennedy Highway, this is the tail end of the Boulia Golf Course. Not a blade of grass, nothing. One could only describe the area as desolate. And we think that this is probably just the start of seeing very severe drought conditions suffered by these people. The lady at the stone cottage told us that they're shifting any cattle from here to greener pastures up north. And that's why we have been seeing the cattle trains. The lady also told us that where it looks very barren, the cattle turn the rocks over and eat the moss underneath the rocks. There are so many of these white ships sailing these roads, and we are just a few k's out of Boulia. $3.50 to Winton, and we're on the Kennedy Highway. And here's another white ship. It's a very strong wind out there. Robert's driving with an extremely strong crosswind. This is just going on for miles and miles and miles. Sadly, the most exciting thing to photograph out here is going across a cattle grid. They give many opportunities to pass here, and motorists are taking advantage of that. This would have to be the bleakest part of our trip. We are due to pull over for lunch, but not a tree in sight. They tell us there's a shady spot for lunch in 5 kilometres. We're approaching the historic Hamilton Hotel site. Might be a shady tree. We're driving now through jump up country. Very unique. The only other place to see jump ups like this is in Mexico. So it's Australia and Mexico. Very unique. We're back on the open road again, but there looks a little bit more ground coverage here. We are driving over the bed of an inland sea when the dinosaurs roamed this earth. And the flat tops of the jump ups over there were the crusty bits that were sticking out above the sea.